The Israeli military says it has killed a senior Hezbollah commander in a strike on Beirut on Monday night.
Concern is growing over students' international mobility following the EU's proposed cuts in funding to the Erasmus student exchange program.
John Hopfield and Geoffrey Hinton were awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics on Tuesday for discoveries and inventions in artificial intelligence. The Israeli military said it has killed Suhail Husseini, the commander of Hezbollah's headquarters, in an attack on Beirut on Monday night. It said Husseini was responsible for transferring weapons from Iran and distributing the arms to Hezbollah's various units. Further strikes were also reported in Beirut and across eastern and southern Lebanon on Tuesday morning. Israel also said it would soon launch operations on Lebanon's southern coast, telling residents to stay off the beaches and the sea along the Mediterranean. Meanwhile, at least 21 people, including 5 children and 2 women, were killed in strikes that hit houses in the Bureij refugee camp in central Gaza, according to Al-Aqsa Hospital, where the bodies were taken. The hospital also received about a dozen injured, including several children. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to continue fighting the country's enemies during a government memorial service marking the 7 October Hamas attacks.
ה-7 באוקטובר יסמל לדורות את מחיר תקומתנו, והוא יבטא לדורות את גודל נחישותנו ואת עוצמת רוחנו.
The latest strikes add to the mounting Palestinian death toll in Gaza, which is now nearing 42,000, according to Gaza's health ministry.
Josep Borrell believes that the EU should take advantage of the attacks on the militant group Hezbollah to give impetus to political renewal within Lebanon. Without this, the EU High Representative believes there will be no solution for the country.
Tenemos que ayudar a este país, tenemos que aprovechar esta ocasión de debilidad de Hezbollah para reforzar las estructuras políticas del Líbano y tenemos que conseguir un alto el fuego en la región.
According to Borrell, 4 key actions must now be taken to ensure the country's survival: electing a president of the republic, supporting the Lebanese army, giving a stronger mandate to the UN peacekeeping mission to secure peace on the border, and providing humanitarian aid. Some MEPs weighed in to warn that the EU must act quickly.
This situation also affects how local populations view the European Union's commitment. Indeed, some Lebanese, particularly within the Christian community, feel abandoned by the European Union.
Lebanon has experienced what Borrell has described as its 4th invasion by Israel, in which an estimated 2,000 people have already died and 20% of the country's population has been displaced.
Caught off guard by the intensity of storms overnight, Marseille motorists found themselves trapped in floodwaters. The city's mayor urged residents to be careful as Marseille's Old Port and several neighbourhoods were inundated by torrential rains.
Ça fait plusieurs fois, c'est arrivé au mois de septembre au moins 3 fois. Octobre, là, ça y est, c'est reparti, c'est vraiment difficile.
Roads were flooded and some cars were submerged in the floods following significant rainfall. Footage shared to social media showed the scale of the extreme weather, with the equivalent of a normal month's worth of precipitation falling in less than 2 hours. Local media report that up to 30 schools in the city were closed due to the storms. There were also disruptions to the city's bus, tram and metro network due to the weather.
2, 1. The European Space Agency's latest mission, Hera, could tell us how to prevent an asteroid from colliding with Earth. The spacecraft is on its way to survey the harmless asteroid that NASA purposely crashed into 2 years ago.
With Hera, we're actually setting up insurance, a life insurance for planet Earth, right? We are not only demonstrating we can deflect an asteroid, but we also validating this technique so that we can use it for other asteroids.
The 4-year-long project drew together 18 countries in Europe and 17 companies across the continent.
It's first planetary defense mission, but it's also so far the fastest planetary mission that has been done in Europe. So it shows also that things can be done on a quick path, which is especially necessary if we will have to deflect an asteroid one day.
As well as inspecting the DART crash site for the first time, Hera will gather information on how asteroids like Dimorphos are formed.
We are tackling a problem, a natural hazard that we can not only detect, but we can also prevent. And I think we're sending a very strong signal to humanity dealing with a hazard that could be extremely remote, but if it happens, the consequences are absolutely global.
Overcoming obstacles like the weather and the recent grounding of the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, Hera will now embark on its 195 million kilometer journey, on a mission that could one day see Earth overcome the possibility of extinction. David Walsh, Euronews in Cape Canaveral.
At the gates of the University of Seville in the south of Spain, a group of students begin to gather. It is one of the welcome events for Erasmus students who are about to begin classes.
De mis primeros días en Sevilla venimos acá a conocer el centro de la ciudad y a conocer más personas que estén en Erasmus.
For many of them, the new course does not begin in classes. Instead, it begins with this tour to get to know the city.
Pues hoy lo que vamos a hacer es darle un tour a los Erasmus de aquí de Sevilla por todo el centro para enseñarles de primera mano cómo moverse por aquí y enseñarles lo más característico de aquí de la ciudad.
According to the Erasmus Student Network, Spain has been the country with the most Erasmus students, with about 150,000 this year alone. Madrid is the main destination with nearly 10,000 students, followed by Barcelona, Valencia and Seville, chosen this year as one of the destinations best valued by the students. Other best valued cities include Porto, Istanbul and Sofia.
Es una ciudad con la que realmente nosotros anclamos muy bien la cultura española y asimismo también es relativamente barata para lo que un Erasmus puede permitirse.
Los recortes en la financiación de los proyectos Erasmus podrían tener una repercusión que vaya mucho más allá del ámbito universitario, sobre todo en las economías locales de ciudades como Sevilla, que ven cada año cómo aumenta el número de estudiantes Erasmus.
Thanks to the Erasmus program, the University of Seville received nearly 7 million euros of investments this year. An additional 10 million euros could be injected into the economy from the use of services in the city, catering to over 2,300 students.
Io vivo in una residencia para estudiantes y pago 700 euros cada mes. Y la comida para mí más o menos 100 euros cada mes.
Vienen muchísimos estudiantes extranjeros y claro, consumen demasiado. Gracias a ellos, gracias a la universidad, tenemos aquí bastante clientela y el negocio va súper bien gracias a lo que consumen y a lo que se gastan.
MEPs on the EU Parliament's Budget Committee have opposed the proposal to cut about 295 million euros from the Erasmus program.
Nuestra asociación tiene una postura clara respecto a eso y obviamente nosotros queremos que la beca Erasmus y la posibilidad de hacer una movilidad internacional esté disponible a todo el mundo, sea de la clase social que sea.
Most of the students who travel for the program are the French, followed by Germans and in the third place the Spanish. This year has seen almost 400,000 fewer participants in the Erasmus program compared to last year, the first time that the numbers have started to fall after the pandemic.
Days before the St. Parasceva holiday, the Romanian city of Iași has been filled with colour. Thousands upon thousands of chrysanthemums, autumn arrangements and arches will embellish the city. Pilgrims head to the Cathedral of Iași, where the relics of St. Parasceva can be found.
50.000 de astfel de crizanteme vor înfrumuseța orașul, vor fi în 10 culori, predomină această nuanță, se vor putea vedea în parcuri și pe zonele pietonale din oraș, iar pe lângă crizanteme vor putea fi admirate peste 420.000 de flori bianuale, printre care și varză decorativă.
Every year, more and more flowers are grown as Romanian pilgrims flock to visit the saint's remains. This year, there was an estimated production of 1.5 million flowers.
Foarte frumos, chiar ne bucurăm.
Am luat flori ca să dăm pe la dânsa și să punem în casă, la icoană, că așa se face.
Saint Paraschiva was an ascetic saint born in the 11th century. She reportedly had visions of the Virgin Mary, and she continues to be celebrated in many Orthodox countries, including Romania, where she's believed to protect people from sickness, sorrows, and trouble.
John Hopfield and Geoffrey Hinton were awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics on Tuesday for discoveries and inventions that form the building blocks of machine learning and artificial intelligence. Hinton is a computer scientist known as the godfather of AI. He works at the University of Toronto, while Hopfield's research is carried out at Princeton University. The award was given by the Secretary General of the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences in Stockholm. In his acceptance, Hinton described his vision for the future of AI.
I think it will have a huge influence. It will be comparable with the Industrial Revolution. But instead of exceeding people in physical strength, it's going to exceed people in intellectual ability.
The Physics Prize carries a cash award equivalent to around €1 million. Nobel announcements continue with the Chemistry Prize on Wednesday and Literature on Thursday. The Nobel Peace Prize will be announced on Friday.